to $23,000. Yes, you heard that right. A small copper-colored coin worth thousands. And today, the full story, the mystery, and the unbelievable reasons why this coin has become a legend among collectors and coin experts. So stay tuned till the end because every detail might help you discover a valuable coin sitting under your nose. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoin cent, first 1909, was created to honor the 100th birthday of Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who led the country through the Civil War and fought freedom and equality. The Lincoin has been produced for over a century with different designs and materials. But the 1992 penny stands out because it was made during a transition between two designs, the classic Lincoln Memorial Rev and the new Lincoln Memorial Close AM. Appeared in 1993, and this transition is what gave birth to one of the rarest and most valuable error coins ever found, the 92 Close AM penny in Modi 2 Lincoln cents. If you look on the back of the coin, you will see the words United States of America, and right below that, the letters AM in America are spaced apart. This is called the wide AM design, but in a few rare examples, the letters A and M are almost touching. This is known as the close AM variety, and that is the key that turns an ordinary penny into a rare treasure worth thousands. This small difference came from Mint accidentally using the 1993 proof die 1992 coins, creating the famous 1992 close AM error. About the details, the 1992 Lincoln pen 2 locations, Philadelphia mark and Denver with a D Mint mark under the date. Both versions can have the AM variety, but the 1992 D close AM is even rarer. Only a few examples have ever been confirmed, making it one of the holy grails of modern collecting. The Philadelphia version is rare too, but the den is like striking gold. Estimate that fewer than 20 of these coins exist in high grade, some say maybe even fewer, and when one of them appears on the market, collectors go crazy. In 2012, one of these rare 1992 D close AM pennies sold at auction for over $20,000. And since then, the price has to rise as collectors and investors compete to own one, depending on the condition. Mint state examples can sell for anywhere between $5,000 and $23,000 or even more. Imagine that kind of money in your old coin collection. Discovering a fortune in a simple penny is what makes coin collecting so exciting and predictable. But there's more to the 1990 penny than just the close AM variety. There are also errors and variations that make certain even more unique and valuable. For example, some pennies from this year have center strikes, double dies, weak strikes, or planchet errors. All of these can increase value depending on how dramatic the error is and how well it has been preserved. Collectors always look for these details, so if you have a 1992 penny, take a magnifying glass, look closely at sides, and check for anything unusual, especially on the reverse side between the A and M AMRIC. Now let's break down how to identify whether your coin is valuable. First, check the year. If it says 1992 or 1992D, you're in the right range. Next, look closely at the back of the coin, under good lighting, and forward America. If the A and M are almost touching, that means you could have the close 80. Compare it to another regular penny. In the regular version, a noticeable gap between A and M, but in the close AM, the letters nearly touch or extremely close together. Also check the design initials FG, which stand for Frank Gasparo. On the right side of the Lincoln Memorial base, in the close AM variety, the initials FG are farther away from the building, while on the regular one, these small details make a huge difference in value. If you think you have one, do not clean it or try to polish it. Cleaning coins can damage their surfaces and lower their value quickly. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and get it verified by a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC. If it turns out to be a genuine 1992 close AM or 1992 D close AM penny, congratulations, you might be holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about the composition and features. The 1992 penny was made of copper-plated zinc, weighing 2 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters, on the obverse side. We see a portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words "I in God we trust" above left, and the year 1992 to the right. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, and beneath the memorial, if you look closely, you can see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside, which is an incredible detail that many people never notice. This coin design remained in circulation until 2008 before being replaced by the Lincoln Bicentennials in 2009. Collectors love the 1990 penny because it represents the end of an era, the beginning of a new one, the last of the classic Lincoln Memorial cents before changes took place. And that transition makes it historically significant as well as potentially very valuable. Every collector dreams of finding one of these rare close AM coins because they symbolize the perfect combination of history and error. The three pillars that make coins worth big money. The value of these coins continues to rise as more people learn about them. Many coin dealers, auction houses, collectors are willing to pay huge sums for well-preserved examples, especially those graded MS65 or higher, which means mint state condition with invisible wear. Coins in lower grades can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the variety and the demand at the time. The coin market has shown that rare varieties like this often gain value over time, especially when only a handful exist. Some experts believe that more undiscovered 1992 close AM pennies are still out there in circulation, sitting in jars, drawers, or old collections, waiting for someone like you to find them. So it's always worth pocket change, your old coin rolls, or even coins from the bank, because that's exactly how some of these treasures were found. Regular people noticing something slightly different about a coin and realizing they were holding something worth dollars. Imagine the excitement of holding a penny that could buy you a new car, pay off bills, or add a rare gem to your collection. The 1992 close AM penny is not just about money, it's about discovery, passion, and the joy of history preserved in metal. Every scratch, every detail tells a story of the minting process, the work, the machinery, and the tiny human errors that sometimes create miracles for collectors decades later. Today we're diving deep into the incredible story. 1 cent 1983 D Lincoln penny from the United States of America, a tiny copper-colored coin that might just be worth a fortune. You heard that right. This small coin, marked with the famous inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," has a face value of just 1 cent. Some examples of this 1983 D penny have been just $12,000 in today's coin market. So sit tight and listen carefully because we're going to uncover everything: history, composition, errors, rarity, and the reasons why collectors around the world are paying thousands of dollars for what most people think just an ordinary penny. Let's begin with a little background. The 1983 penny was minted in Denver, which is represented by the small letter D mint mark just below the date on the. The year 1983 was a turning point in the history of the Lincoln cent because it came right after a major change in the composition of the penny. Before 1982, Lincoln pennies were made mostly of copper, 95% copper and 5% zinc. But due to the rising cost of copper, the U.S. Mint decided to switch to a cheaper composition in 1982. From then on, pennies were made of 97.5% zinc and just a thin coating of copper. This change saved the government money, but it also created one of the most fascinating periods for coin collectors because the transition isn't perfect, and some rare mistakes happen. That's where the 1983 D penny becomes legendary. Even though all 1983 pennies should technically be zinc-coated coins, accidentally struck on leftover solid copper plants in 1982. These are the rare and valuable 1983 copper pennies that collectors go crazy for. If you find one of the copper coins with the D mint mark, you could be holding a treasure worth thousands of dollars. One example of a 1983 D penny copper planchet was authentic and sold for more than $12,000 at auction. What makes this coin so special? It's not just about age. It's about the rare minting mistake that happened in the early 1980s when the U.S. switched metals. Let's talk about how 1983 penny is one of those rare and valuable ones. The easiest way is by checking its weight. Normal 1983 D zinc pennies weigh 0.5 grams, but the rare copper one weighs about 3.1 grams. That small difference might sound tiny, but it's everything in the world of coin. If you have a digital scale, weigh your if it's heavier, you could be looking at one of the most valuable modern errands in U.S. history. Always remember to handle it carefully, avoid cleaning or polishing it. Consider getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. The front side of the 1983 penny features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th birthday. Around his portrait, you can see the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and year 1983. On the reverse side, the design shows Lincoln Memorial, an image that was first introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Hidden within the memorial design is a tiny image of the statue Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, a small detail that many people overlook. The design remained on the penny until 2008, making the 1983 version of that long and historic series, but not all 1983 pennies are the same. Besides the copper planchet errors, there are also known varieties of issues that can make your coin valuable. Some 1983s have what's called a double die reverse or a double die obverse. That during the minting process, the die that stamped the coin shifted slightly, creating a doubled image on some letters or numbers. Look closely at the lettering in 1 cent, States of America, or even Liberty. If you see a doubling effect, it might be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another possible error is the off-center strike, where the design is perfectly aligned. Coins like that can also be worth a lot depending on how dramatic and how visible the design remains, the market value of the 1983 penny edition, rarity, and type of error. A regular 1983 zinc penny in circulated condition might only be worth face value, just 1 cent. But an uncirculated, mint state coin with a bright luster and no scratches can sell for a few dollars to collect. However, when you move into rare territory, like the copper composition or the double die, the value skyrockets. Certified 1983 pennies have sold for over $12,000, and high-grade mint state examples of other varieties have fetched impressive prices in major coin auctions. Now into why these coins are so fascinating for collectors. 1983 penny represents a snapshot of American history, a time when the mint was adapting to economic changes, material shortages, and modern technology. This coin connects two different eras of the U.S. penny, the classic and the modern zinc era. That treated unintentional rarity, and that's exactly what makes collectors fall in love with coins like this. It's the mystery, the story, and the chance that something sitting in your pocket to actually be worth a life-changing amount of money. Every coin tells a story, and the 1983 penny's story is one of transformation and discovery. Many people have found these coins by accident, in old jars, in circulation, or even while sorting through pocket change. Imagine finding a coin that most people overlook, testing it on a scale, and realize it's one of the rare copper 1980 varieties worth thousands. Of discovery makes the world of coin collecting exciting. You never know when a small piece of metal could reveal a hidden fortune. Let's talk a little more about how grading affects value. Professional grading companies like Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, use 70-point scale to determine the condition of a 1983 penny MS65 or higher, especially if it's one of the copper errors, can command an incredible price premium. The better the condition, fewer scratches, full mint luster, and sharp details, the higher the grade, and the higher the market value. Even common coins in pristine condition can bring surprising amounts at auction if they have that fresh, uncirculated look. Collectors are also fascinated by die varieties from the Denver Mint in the early 1980s. The 1983 mint mark itself has different shapes due to the way it was punched onto the die, and small variations in mint marks can sometimes collectors who specialize in studying those differences. Details may seem minor in numismatics, the coins, even the tiniest variation can mean a 1-cent coin and one worth thousands. When we look at others, we can see the undeniable appeal of this coin. 1983 copper penny authenticated by S once sold for over $12,000, and other examples have appeared in major auction houses, Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers. Each sale confirms that collectors are always looking for the next rare specimen of this history. And because so few of these copper planchets slipped through the mint's quality control process, supply is extremely limited, making the demand skyrocket when one shows up for sale. If you know how to find one yourself. Good news is that 1983 pennies are still commonly elation. Millions were made, and have jars full of them sitting in their homes. Trick is to carefully check each one for weight, composition, and any unusual feature. Use a magnet. Zinc pennies have a different feel, but a scale is always more accurate. And if your coin feels heavier and rings differently when a hard surface, it could be for errors. Always double-check with a professional before selling, because the difference between a penny and a rare one thousands of dollars. The story of the 1980 teaches us an important lesson about attention to details. In the world of coins, every small feature, a number, a weight difference, can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary one. The inscriptions "Liberty Trust," combined with Lincoln's timeless image, remind us of the nation's valued history. And the simple fact that one of these coins can be worth $12,000 today shows how something as small as a minting error can capture the imagination of collectors and historians around the world. So, next time you come across a 1983 Lincoln penny, don't ignore it. Take a closer look, examine it carefully, and remember what you've learned today. You could be holding a piece of American history, a penny with a hidden story, a rare mistake from the mint, and a potential treasure worth thousands. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It's not just about money, it's about discovery, history, and the thrill of the hunt, and that's why the 1983 penny remains one of the most talked about coins among collectors today. From its connection to the copper-to-zinc transition to its rare and valuable mint errors, this humble continues to surprise and inspire people everywhere. A coin that once bought candy or was tossed into a fountain for luck might now bring in $12,000 or more to its lucky owner. The story of an incredible, highly sought coin that has captured the attention of collectors and numismatists all over the world, the 1995 Lincoln penny from the United States of America. This is no ordinary coin that you might find in your pocket change. This tiny copper-colored piece of American history carries with it stories of rarity, minting mistakes, and a market value that can rise all the way up to an unbelievable $45,000. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1-cent coin that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars if you write one sitting in your collection or tucked away in an old jar. So, stay tuned as we explore every detail, from its creation, mint mark, and design, to the hidden errors that make it worth a fortune today. The 1995 Lincoln penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is represented by the letter P mint mark below the year on the obverse side of the coin. This coin belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, which was produced from 1959 all the way to 2008, replacing the original wheat ears design that had been used since 1909. The obverse of this coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, designed by Victor David Brenner. This same portrait has become one of the most iconic and longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. Above Lincoln's head, you can see the words, "In God We Trust," a timeless motto that first appeared on U.S. during the Civil War era. To the left of Lincoln's portrait, the word "Liberty" engraved, symbolizing the core value on which the nation was founded, and to the right, you'll find the year 1995, marking the date of minting. Now, let's take a look at the reverse side, which displays the magnificent Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo. This design was introduced to celebrate 50th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth in 19 remained on the penny for almost 5 decades. When you look closely on the coin, you can actually see a statue of Lincoln sitting inside the monument, a fine detail that many people don't even notice at first glance. The inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E pluribus unum," meaning, "out of many, one," appear above the memorial, while the denomination, 1 cent, is boldly written at the bottom. Now, let's talk about why this 1995 Lincoln penny can be worth so much money. The answer lies in a fascinating error that took place during the minting process, the famous 1995 double die obverse error. In simple terms, this means that during the creation of the coin, the die used to strike the obverse side of the penny was misaligned slightly, causing a doubling effect on the lettering and sometimes even parts of Lincoln's image. This doubling most noticeable on the inscriptions, Liberty and In God We Trust. If you have a coin where these look slightly doubled or blurry, then congratulations, you might be holding one of the most valuable pennies of the 1990s. The 1995 double die error pennies quickly became one of the most famous modern minting mistakes ever found, and collectors rushed to find circulation. When the errors discovered, people began checking every single penny they could find from that year, and over time, these became extremely desirable. While regular 1995 pennies were produced, over 6 billion to be exact. A limited number of double die errors made it out of the mint. This is what makes them so rare and valuable today. In circulated condition, a regular 1995 penny is worth only its face value of 1 cent. However, if you find one of the double die variety good condition, the value skyrockets. Even in average circulated grades, these coins can bring anywhere from $20 to $100, depending on the doubling and the overall condition. But in uncirculated, mint state, especially those certified by companies like PCGS or NGC, the price rise dramatically. A high-grade MS-67 or higher double die penny easily sell for $7,000 at auction. And if you're lucky enough to own one of the finest examples known to exist, in pristine conditions and full luster, the price can soar all the way up to $45,000 or more in the market. That's an astonishing return for a coin that started life as just 1 cent. So, what makes this coin even more interesting is the historical context surrounding it. In 1995, the U.S. Mint was still producing coins made mostly of copper-plated zinc. This composition change began when copper prices rose and the mint switched from 95% to a core of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating. As a result, these modern pennies have a different weight and feel compared to the copper versions. The 1995 penny weighs about 2.5 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. While the metal content itself isn't valuable, the rarity of the error and the numismatic magnificence are what give this coin its incredible worth. Collectors often talk about the thrill of finding one of the coins in circulation, and stories of people discovering valuable pennies in change or coin rolls still pop up from time to time. It's one of those coins that proves how exciting coin collecting can be. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. That's why so many hobbyists continue searching through jars, rolls, and bags of pennies, hoping to uncover one of these gems. Let's talk about how to identify this coin properly. The easiest way to tell a 1995 double die penny is to carefully examine the inscriptions using a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the word Liberty. On genuine double die examples, the letters appear clearly doubled, especially the B and E. The phrase, "In God We Trust," also shows strong, particularly on God and Trust. If you notice this effect, do not clean or polish your coin, as that can destroy its collector value. Instead, store it safely in a holder or coin finger professionally graded. Another fun fact is that the 1995 double die penny was one of the last major double die errors easily visible to the naked eye. Advances in minting technology and quality control in later years made such dramatic errors much rarer. And why collectors consider it an iconic modern error. The market for these coins remains strong. With growing interest in rare and error coins, prices have continued to climb. Even lower-grade examples are beginning to find, and collectors are willing to top dollar for certified high-grade coins. Auction records show coins can fetch anywhere between several tens of thousands of dollars depending on their condition and visual appeal, when you think about it, it's truly a coin worth 1 cent could one day be valued $45,000 simply because of a tiny mistake at the mint. This just goes to show how important small details can be in the world of numismatics. For some collectors, these coins feels like winning the lottery. And for those who appreciate history, it represents a fascinating story of craftsmanship, technology, and human error all rolled into one. So if you have pennies at home, or if you enjoy coin roll hunting, make sure you check every 1995p penny you come across. You never know, that small copper coin sitting unnoticed on your desk might just be your ticket to a life-changing discovery. Remember to look for the doubling on liberty and in God we trust, and if it matches the known characteristics of the famous double die variety, get it verified by a reputable grading company. In the end, the 1995p Lincoln penny remains one of the most fascinating modern coins in American history, a perfect example of how even the smallest things can hold incredible value. From its iconic design and patriotic symbolism to its famous era and stunning market prices, this coin has everything collectors dream of. And who knows, maybe your next handful of change will reveal a hidden treasure worth $45,000 or more. So keep hunting, keep collecting, and keep believing that every coin has a waiting to be told. Collectors from all around the world, today we are diving deep into one of the most famous coins in United States history, the legendary 1 cent 1999 D Lincoln penny, featuring the Abraham Lincoln, the word liberty, and the proud national motto "In God We Trust." Small copper-colored coin, often overlooked in your pocket chain, holds a story of history, mystery, and value that can surprise even the most experienced coin enthusiasts. 1999 D penny may look ordinary at first glance, but certain rare variations, minting edition levels can transform this humble 1 cent piece into a treasure worth thousands, with some examples set for an astonishing $16,000 or more in today's collector's market. So stay tuned, because you might be holding a fortune without even knowing. The story of the 1990 Lincoln cent begins in Denver, at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest and precise mints in the world. The letter D beneath the year 1999 signifies that it was struck there. This penny belonged to the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series, in 1959 and continued until 2008. The obverse, or front, of the coin displays the file of Abraham Lincoln designed by Vinner, a design that first appeared in 1909 to celebrate Lincoln's 100th day. Around his image, the inscriptions Liberty and I Trust serve as reminders of America's founding and the dedication to liberty and define the nation. The reverse side, designed by Frank, showcases the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., with remarkable detail. If you look closely under magnification, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. This attention and symbolism made the coin not just currency, but also a miniature piece of art and American heritage. Now, what makes the 1999 D stand out is not just its design, but the variations and mint mistakes that occurred during production. While billions of these pennies were struck, only a few came out with unique and rare, make them worth a fortune today. Some of the most famous and valuable errors include the double die obverse, where parts of the design like the word or "In God We Trust" appear slightly doubled due to misalignment during the process. Another rare variation is the off-center strike, where the coin design is not properly centered, leaving a crescent of blank metal visible. The misalignment, the more valuable the coins. There are also examples of broad strike errors, planchets, die cracks, and additional errors that occurred when different metal combinations used. These are like fingerprints of the minting process, possible to replicate, which makes collecting thousands to own them. For example, a 1990 with a clear double die obverse in mint state condition has been reported to sell for over $16,000 at auction, depending on the strength of the doubling and the coin's preservation quality. Even your errors, if your 1999 D penny has full red luster, sharp details, and no visible wear, known as a mint state 6 or higher, it can still bring in hundreds or even $1,000 from serious collectors. The difference between a common 1 cent coin and one worth thousands often lies in its condition and rarity. Coins that have never been in circulation, known as uncirculated or proof-like, are far more valuable because they preserve the original shine and is from the minting press. Let's take a moment to talk about the metal composition too. 1999, the U.S. had long switched from mostly copper coins to a composition of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. This change started in 1982 due to the rising cost of copper. Sometimes leftover copper planchets were misused in later years, creating transitional error. If a 90 penny was struck on a pure copper planchet instead of the usual one, it would weigh around 3.11 grams instead of 2.5 grams, and that single difference could make thousands. Many collectors test this with a digital scale. If your 1999 D penny is heavier than normal, it might be one of those rare transitional errors that fetch a small fortune at auction. The 1999 D penny marks the final stretch of the 20th century, making it historically significant. It's the last full year of Lincoln Memorial Revolts before the millennium, when for the year 2000 and the mint was on the verge of introducing new design. Because of that, the 1999 D holds nostalgic value for collectors who specialize in coins from the 20th century. It's a bridge between two centuries, America's endurance and the continuing legacy of Abraham Lincoln. Let's discuss the current market trends. Coin collectors around the world are paying close attention to the 1999 D penny, especially those graded by top companies like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. These grading agencies authenticate and assign a rating to coins on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded 70, or mint state perfect, is extremely rare and highly sought after. Recent auction records show that high-grade 1999 D Lincoln pennies in pristine condition have sold for anywhere between $1,000 and $16,000 depending on the presence of errors, doubling, or proof-like features. Even coins found in that retain a bright red hue can be worth several hundred if properly preserved, particularly drawn to coins that have clear, strong doubling lettering or date, as well as those that are usually shiny or have full strike details on Lincoln's beard, hair, and memorial columns. Additionally, penny mint sets or sealed rolls are often the best sources of high-grade examples. If you happen to find one of these in an old car, collection, or inherited estate, it's worth inspecting carefully. You might be holding a treasure. Have overlooked that it's also important to understand how to market prices. Social media and YouTube coin checking awareness about rare coins, more people are checking their change coins for grading. This growing interest has caused certain varieties, like the 1999 D double die and transitional error pennies, to skyrocket. As more collectors seek to complete their 20th century Lincoln penny sets, the demand for high-quality and 1999 D examples continues to grow, keeping prices high and competition fierce. That if you want to check the potential value of your own 1999 D penny, start by examining it under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Look closely at the words "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date 99 for any signs of doubling or distortion. Check the edges for clipping, the overall centering of the design, and any unusual weights. If you suspect you have something rare, do not clean the coin. Cleaning can reduce its value dramatically. Instead, place it in a soft holder and consider having it graded professionally. The 1999 D Lincoln penny is more than just a coin, it's a piece of American history that represents craftsmanship, patriotism, and of discovery. From the legacy of Abraham Lincoln to the artistic work of Brenner and Gasparo, this coin stands as a tribute to American ideals. But for years, the real magic possibility that one tiny minting error could turn a 1-cent coin into a $16,000 prize. So, check your chain, explore your old coin jars, and underestimate the power of a small piece of copper metal that has traveled through decades of history. The world of the incredible 1006 Lincoln penny, a colored coin that millions of people pass around every single day without knowing that some of these can be worth an unbelievable amount of money, yes, up to $17,000 more in certain conditions. So if you've ever found a 2006 penny in your pocket change, in an old or sitting quietly inside a forgotten drawer, stay tuned, because this coin might just change your life. Let's explore the full story, the hidden value, the minting secrets, and the reasons why collectors are willing to pay big money for this seemingly ordinary coin. The 2006 Lincoln penny is part of one of the most iconic coin series in the history of the United States, the Lincoln cent, which first appeared in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who is remembered for his leadership during the Civil War and for ending slavery. The design of the Lincoln penny became a national symbol of honor, trust, and liberty. On the obverse side, or the front, you see the proud portrait of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, with the words Liberty and In God We Trust boldly stamped above, and 2006 positioned on the right side. The reverse side features the classic memorial, which was introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replacing the earlier, wheat ears, reverse design that had been used from 1909 to 1958. Now, the 2006 penny was minted in huge numbers across 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia O mint mark, Denver D mint mark, and San Francisco S mint mark for proofs. In total, over 7.7 were produced that year, so it might sound like they are too common to be worth anything special. But here's where it gets interesting: among those billions of coins, a few were struck with rare errors, minting mistakes, and variations that make them incredibly valuable to collectors and experts in the coin community. The most valuable 2006 pennies are those that contain minting errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, double dies, and struck-through errors. A double die error happens when the die that imprints the coin design hits it twice but slightly misaligned, causing visible doubling of letters, numbers, or parts of Lincoln's face. For example, if you find a 2006 penny where the words Liberty or In God We Trust appear blurry, shadowed, or doubled, you might be looking at a highly valuable collectible coin. Similarly, off-center strikes, where the design isn't properly aligned, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how much of the coin is misstruck, how clear the visible details are. Another rare variation that has been reported involves struck-through grease errors, where parts of the design are missing or weak because of debris or oil that got stuck between the die and the coin during minting. Some 2006 pennies show faded or missing details that make them unique and durable to collectors. Even minor differences like a thicker rim, a missing mint mark, or an unusual finish can add extra value to your coin. Let's talk about composition, because that plays a key role in the Lincoln penny's evolution. The 2006 penny made mostly of zinc with thin copper coating. A 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, a change that started in 1982 when the mint switched from solid bronze alloy, 95% copper, to a more cost-effective zinc core to save money on metal production. While the face value is just 1 cent, the metal content of a modern penny is worth less than a cent, but the rarity, condition, importance can push the collector value sky high. Now, you might be wondering, are these coins worth as much as $17,000? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and error type. Coins graded in near-perfect mint state, MF or higher, conditioned by professional grading services like PCS or NGC, can command incredibly high prices, especially if they have a unique error or proof finish. For example, a 2016 in pristine red condition, perfectly preserved with a sharp strike and full luster, has sold for thousands of dollars in auction. Some error coins, particularly those with dramatic doubling on In God We Trust, or a major off-center strike, have reaches up to $17,000, making them a dream find for coinists. The San Francisco Mint also produced special proof coins in 2000s. These were not intended for circulate for collectors, featuring a mirror-like background and frosted designs. While most proof coins are not extremely rare, flawless exam PR70 can still fetch premium prices. Some proofs with unusual striking missing cameo contrast have also become valuable over the years, another reason collectors love the 2006 position in Lincoln century. Just a few years later, in 2009, the reverse design changed completely to celebrate the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth, followed by the Union Shield design in 2010. That means the 2006 penny represents one of the last years of the Lincoln Memorial design, making it a symbolic piece that bridges the old and new eras of American coinage. When looking for valuable 2006 pennies, pay close attention to the mint mark and condition. Coins from the Denver Mint, marked with AD, are more common, while those from Philadelphia have no mint mark but can still be valuable if they are error coins or in pristine red condition. Red pennies, meaning they retain their original copper color without turning brown or dark, are especially sought after. Even a single fingerprint or tiny scratch can drastically reduce the value, so collectors handle these using gloves and proper storage holders. To identify whether your coin might be big money, check the following signs: doubling on Liberty or the date, off-center strike, missing or faded letters, a thick or bold rim, or any unusual shine or finish that looks different from normal circulation pennies. Also, look for coins with mirror yields or frosted designs that could be proof strikes. Once you spot something unusual, consider having it graded or appraised by a professional coin grading company, because only certified coins can bring top prices in the collector world. Condition is king. On a 70-point scale, with grades like MS60 to MS70 representing uncirculated coins that have never been used in transactions. A 2000 grade MS67 red or higher can easily cross into the $1,000 range, and those with errors can soar into the five-figure zone. That's where the $17,000 record comes from. Coin enthusiasts actively search coin rolls, bank boxes, and change jars to find one of these hidden gems. Let's not forget the historical charm that makes the Lincoln penny special beyond its monetary worth. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a symbol of American pride, the enduring values of liberty, trust, and perseverance. Every detail on the coin, from the inscription, "In God We Trust," to the image of the Lincoln Memorial, tells a story about the nation's belief in unity and justice. The fact that such a small coin can hold such deep meaning and occasionally be worth thousands of dollars makes it one of the most fascinating collections in American numismatic history. So next time you get change at a store, don't overlook those little copper coins. That 1 cent in your hand might just be $17,000 treasure waiting to be discovered. Check every 2006 pen find, especially those marks, or perfect luster, because you never know, you could be holding a rare piece of U.S. minting history. In summary, the Lincoln penny is far more than just pocket change. It represents over a century of American heritage, craftsmanship, and hidden value. While billions were made, a few rare ones hold secrets that make them worth thousands of dollars. Whether you're a serious coin collector or just someone curious about what's hiding in your piggy bank, take a closer look at your pennies. Because next time you get a 2006 cent, it might be your ticket to a small fortune. Welcome back to the channel Coin Star, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and talked about coins in its history, the 1992 1 cent Lincoln penny. The coin looks ordinary at first glance but be hiding a in pocket change. This is not just any penny, this is the 1992 penny with liberty and the words "In God We Trust." A coin that has shocked collectors around the world because of its hidden minting, errors, variations, and its massive market value that can reach up to $2,000. Yes, you heard that, a small copper-colored coin worth thousands, and today we'll uncover the full story, the mystery, the history, and the unbelievable reasons why this coin has become a legend among collectors and coin experts. Stay tuned till the end because every detail might help you discover a valuable coin. So your nose. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909, was created to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who led the country through the Civil War and fought for equality. The Lincoln penny has been produced century with different designs and materials. But the 1992 stands out because it was made during a transition period between two designs, the classic Lincoln Memorial Reverse and the new Lincoln Memorial Close AM version that appeared in 1993, and this transition is what gave birth to one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever found, the 1992 Close 1992 Lincoln cents. If you look on the back of you'll see the words United States of America, and right below that, the letters AM in America are spaced apart. This is called the wide AM design, but in a few rare examples, the letters A and M are almost touching. This is known as the close AM variety, and that is the key that turns an ordinary penny into a rare treasure worth thousands. This small difference came from the mint accidentally using the 1993 proof die on a few 1992 coins, creating the famous 1992 close AM error. Now let's talk about the details. The 1992 Lincoln penny was minted in two locations, Philadelphia with no mint mark and Denver with a D mint mark under the date. Both versions can have AM variety, but the 1990 close AM is even rarer. Only a few samples have ever been confirmed, making it one of the holy grails of modern coin collecting. The Philadelphia version is rare too, but the Denver one is like striking gold. Experts estimate that fewer than 20 of these coins exist in high grade. Some say maybe even fewer, and when one of them appears on the market, collectors go crazy. In 2012, these rare 1992 AM pennies sold at auction for over $20,000. Since then, the price has continued to rise as collectors and investors compete to, depending on the condition, mint state examples can sell for anywhere between $5,000 and $23,000, even more. Imagine finding that kind of money in your change jar coin collection. The thrill of discovering a fortune in a simple penny is what makes collecting so excitable, but there's more to the 1992 penny than close AM variety. There are also errors and variations that make certain coins even more unique and valuable. For example, some pennies this year have off-center strikes, double weak strikes, errors. All of these can increase depending on how dramatic the error is and how well it has been preserved. Always look for these. So if you have a 1990, take a magnifying glass, look closely at both sides, and check for anything unusual, especially on the reverse between the A and M of AMRICA. Now let's break down how to identify whether your coin is valuable. First, check the year. It says 1992 or 1992D, you're in the right range. Next, look closely at the back of the coin, under good lighting, and focus on the word America. If the A and M are almost touching, that means you could have the close AM variety. Compare it to another regular penny. In the regular version, there is a noticeable gap between A and M. Close AM. The letters nearly touch or are extremely close together. Also check the designer's initials FG, which stand for Frank Sparrow, on the right side of the memorial base. In the close AM variety, the initials FG are slightly farther away from the bill, while on the regular one, they are closer. These small details make a huge difference in value. If you think you have one, clean it or try to polish it. Cleaning coins can damage their surfaces and lower their value drastically. Instead, handle it carefully by the it verified by a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC. If it turns out to be a genuine 1992 close AM or 1990 close AM penny, congratulations, you might be holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about the composition and design features. The 1992 penny was made of copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 19 mm. On the obverse side, we see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words "I and God we trust" above, liberty to the left.